Well, this week's been a brilliant week, and Dino's had so many things going on, but that's just by and by. I thought I'd just put that in. I'm thinking about a lot of things that carry on and go on, and we sit inside our lives and wonder about things. We wonder about why doesn't this person do that? Or why don't I do this? Or why, if I do this, doesn't that person do that? And it becomes crazy, right? And we've spoken about this many times, but I think today, for some reason, I found a quote which was pretty cool. And I'm going to say it right now, like expectations. So I'm not in this world to live up to your expectations, and you're not in this world to live up to my expectations. So let's just move on and live our lives the way we're supposed to live our lives, and stop expecting people to do things. Make it your life, and do things for you and expect it for yourself. Because at the end of the day, we are responsible for our lives, right? Dino, this is Karina, Break Fear, Find Freedom, and my beautiful co-host, Dino. Hello, Dino.
Hello. How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you?
Doing great. What kind of post was that? Was it that wordy? Or are you just making that one up?
I haven't posted it. It's about expectations.
I would have swiped that post a long time ago. It's like a novel. No, I get it. I understand what you're saying.
Oh, so now I know why you don't check out my posts, right? Because they all like novels.
Well, here's the thing. There's only so much that you could say to somebody that's in the TikTok world. And if you try and write down the cure for cancer, I mean, it's, I'm sure, very compelling, but there's X amount of time that you have. Listen to me like I'm some old pro.
I know, you've become an expert, even at TikTok now. I'm pretty cool. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. It's a completely new world. I'm finding features and stuff. It's great because I stumble onto things, and it's the best way to learn. But as an example, if I concentrate on everybody's story, just the story in Facebook, and look at everybody's story, it will take me approximately 4.5 to 5 hours to run through everybody's story.
Right.
I just can't do it anymore, right? So the ones that I can do are the ones that grab your attention very quickly, the ones where you're not selling skin, okay? I mean, there's very, very beautiful women, nice shots, nice looking men too. It's the message that I gravitate to. So based on the message, if you're going to put this whole sermon, I'll get to you later, but right now I just don't have the time. So anyway, where are we going with this? I get what you're bringing up. Let me tell you what happened in Jacksonville when I was down there just recently. So I went down and met a very dear friend. New dear friend, and basically another chance meeting. It was, for some reason, I'm supposed to reach out to you, and he says, I feel that too. Long story short, I'm down there, and we're talking about production and stuff like that, because I have this movie company that I have now. And anyway, he wanted to introduce me to his community. Specifically the Greek community, and this Monday night fundraiser that was going on. And anyway, so one of the people that I met, and honestly, I forget his name, so I'm sorry right off the bat, but he was the first field goal kicker for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay, I think 1994, 1995. And very interesting guy, very nice, humble man. And so he's telling me his story of when he started, that the rookie salary for a kicker, which isn't the most glamorous job in the world. I mean, back then it was even less glamorous. Now we'll figure it out that 3 points is an important thing. But he said it was $119,000. Now, I'm not sloughing off that amount of money or anything like that, but I asked him because, of course, I'm curious and I have no problem asking questions. And I said, so how did you feel when he's like, are you kidding? That was like, I mean, I just got out of college. That was, a lot of money for me.
Right, right.
And as the years went on, right, based on performance and also the increases in the salary caps for rookies, his wages, he was making more money.
Right.
But then I asked him, I said, let me ask you a question, because I know everybody's like, oh, it's team and football. It's not, I did this, we did this. I get that. Okay. But now I'm talking like the selfish Dino, the little guy that maybe has a little devil every once in a while in his head, selfish, self-centered, self-serving. And, I'm sorry, but if it was me, and let's say I was playing on the 49ers,
Yes,
and
yes.
Joe Montana was the quarterback, who's, the rock stars of the quarterback.
Yeah.
And I find out that he's commanding like $6 million a year, or $10 million a year, and I'm making 119,000. Wouldn't that just like aggravate you and just completely like ruin your day? I mean, jealous.
Yes.
Why him and not me? Like that. And he answered, I didn't expect this answer, but he says, because he goes, quarterbacks get their head kicked in every play. And I was just like, but if they have a good pocket, a good defense, no, they don't. He goes, you don't see after they throw the football. Almost every play they fall down. And almost every play somebody lands on you. And it doesn't seem like a lot, but when you have 300-pound people, 250-pound people always landing on you, I don't know how many times per game, that's a huge factor to consider, which I never considered before.
Right.
So like an outsider looking in, me just basically saying, okay, you play football, Montana played football. You're both football players. He's making this, you're not. Why don't you want to make this? Because I'm thinking everybody wants to make that. Wrong. I mean, again, and I don't mind being wrong, but this one kind of floored me because it's very recent and it just happened. And I was just like, wow, okay. So what he's doing is he's doing a risk evaluation.
Yes.
Some fancy term in the insurance world.
Yes.
And he's basically saying health versus money. And what do I value and how do I value it? And it's not my place to say, well, you know what, I know, but with good protection and a good team, I mean, you're not going to get hit that much.
You don't know that.
It's not my call. It's not my call.
Yeah.
He may have a family. He may have children. He may have, he may want to do other things other than, have arthritis and have metal pins in you the rest of your life after you retire. I mean, there's a lot of things to consider.
Yeah.
So when you were bringing up this post, I get it. It's like my mantra in business. I would see voids in the marketplace and I would pounce. I mean, we talked about that several times.
Yes.
But I never stopped to consider why other people don't pounce. Okay.
Right.
Now, I may make it sometimes look glamorous. If you didn't read my book, you think that everything I do is very glamorous. It can be sometimes, but a lot of the times it wasn't so glamorous.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, to quote The Godfather, the price you pay for the life you choose.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Consider the impact for me. 3 divorces. Can't all be their fault. I mean, come on, let's face it, right? Children that were raised in a single household instead of a family unit. The highs and lows of my life, taking a toll on your nerves, your mind, your spirit, addiction. All those things were the price I paid for fame and fortune that I pursued for 40 years. Now it's different. Let's not talk about now, but but going through my career, my journey, my business journey, that's all I wanted to think about, is how I can smash my competition and just not just beat it, but obliterate it. I mean, very, very competitive. How I can make the most money and how I can be in the most newspapers and magazines you could possibly find. That was my life. The more plaques on my wall, the better. And that came with a cost that I either didn't really consider or didn't care. So when you're that outsider looking at somebody else's life, consider what you have to do to get that kind of life. There's almost always some kind of sacrifice that you have to make.
Yes.
In order to be able to do what you want to do, right?
Yes. And it also,
how do you feel about that?
Yeah. So it depends on what you want. And it's always difficult to, I mean, I've read your book, obviously, right? I can look at you. Oh, well, it's difficult because we've been doing podcasts, but I can look at someone else and say, okay, that's the life they're leading, and they seem like an awesome person, whatever. But you don't know anything. And we've spoken about this many times before. You don't know what the person's like at night when they're alone, or with other people, and you don't know what they really want out of their lives, right? And if it's about karma, right? Karma, as in karma, that's a term. It's about cause and effect. So everything you do has an effect, everything. So you have to make those choices. And you made the choices you made because you had to make the choices. And sometimes we make choices not because we are who we are, it's because of our parents or the things we believe, and that has a big impact on the life that we live. I mean, for you, your dad was hugely influential in the life that you created for yourself, right?
The life I created myself was based on proving him wrong.
Yes.
Everything that he told me not to do, it was my mission to do the opposite.
Exactly.
And I'm sure I'm not the only one who's done this, okay?
Yes.
There's millions of people out there that don't follow their parents' advice. A lot of them don't do it on purpose. I mean, come on, let's admit it. And it takes you places, but I never once, nor will I, say, well, the reason I went through the hardships was because of my parents.
No.
At that point, you got to take responsibility for your actions. And at some point, whether you succeed or fail, you got to say, look, if I don't like the results or the effects of where I'm going, just change, adjust the trajectory a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yes.
When the lines of life get blurry, adjust the focus. I mean, it's just, by the way, that's a registered trademark of Fortia Entertainment Group. When lines get blurry, adjust your focus. Bam.
Whoa, I love that. That's pretty cool.
I mean, no, I'm kidding. But it was a cool journey. Now compare that to the journey I'm on now. The journey I'm on now is different because it's based on this unforgiving moral compass. Let's just put it that way. There's a million things I want to do to go off course. Trust me, I'm a human being with a lot of thoughts and imagination and stuff like that. But it's this unforgiving, unrelenting moral compass that says, are you doing this for you again? Don't we have enough plaques on the wall, right? Haven't you received enough glory and accolades? I mean, are we really going down this road? And then I got to snap out of it and say, oh, yeah. So it's a little more humbling. And because it's humbling, it's always new to me and it's always refreshing. And it keeps me going different than the last time that I was going. This time, there aren't the same after effects of what I'm doing. Yes. Like most people are like, you know what? You're not 20 years old. I read you just decided to write another book. you're going to do this. And now I read that you're going to open, start a TV network. Slow down.
No.
And I'm like, you have no idea. I mean, I'm the one who's saying I should slow down, but I don't feel tired. It's a different kind of thing. And I don't go around saying, I can't believe somebody hasn't figured this out yet. I can't believe somebody's not doing what I'm doing. If they are, good for them. I don't care. It's not my job to compete with them or show them up or get discouraged because somebody else is in that space, I guess is what I'm saying. The more the better. If I'm the only one going that way, I don't turn around and say, oh, look at me, I'm the only one going. It's not that kind of thing anymore. It's just, this is what I feel like doing. And my measure is how people are interacting. And when I mean interacting, I don't mean like we doing these shows or the fun stuff that I do or post or whatever, but I mean real interaction. I mean, 90% of what I do at night or first thing in the morning isn't the big business meetings and stuff that everybody thinks I do. That's later. The first thing that I do is interact intimately with people that are reaching out for help. That I'll never publicize. It's very personal. It's very private. It's not meant to. Yes, but there's so many of them. So if ever I had a question, am I doing the right thing? Just, understand what I do every morning and late every night and not dreading it, but just doing it because it fuels me. As much as I'm helping them, it's helping me.
Yes, yes.
So I know we got off course and everything, but you said this in multiple podcasts in the past. It's like, but you really don't know what the other person is going through, but you really don't know what the other person is thinking. And you're absolutely right. You don't know. Do you have to prove yourself to other people every time just to show that you're a good guy?
No.
Maybe in the beginning, that's the validation that everybody looks for. But when you get to a point in your life, and everybody will get to a point in their life, when you accept what you're doing is for you, it's your life to live, and you don't require validation from other people, then it just becomes a brilliant journey.
Yes, yes.
You don't keep looking over your shoulder like, did you just see what I did? and the most shallow way to do it, to explain it, is try this out. And this was on a Seinfeld episode. I can't take credit for it, but it's happened to me too. You go to a coffee shop, right? And you get the coffee, you order it, and you're waiting in line. You pay for it.
Yes.
But the charge machine doesn't leave room for tips, but there's a tip jar.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
And you want a tip because, I don't know, that's what they do.
That's what you do, tips. Yeah.
Right? So you open up your wallet and you pull out $1, let's say, and you put it in the tip jar. Do you A, put it in the tip jar because you want to tip that person? Or B, wait to put the $1 in the tip jar because they're not watching?
No, you do it because you want to do it, not because
how many people just put that $1 in only when they're looking. I mean, seriously, I've watched people hold the $1 and they're ready to put it in, but they have their back to it because they're obviously busy doing something else, right? And they wait until they turn around so they can put the $1 in so they could get that, oh, thank you. Don't say you haven't done it. I've done it. I know a lot of people out there have done it.
Yeah, but for me, it's just like, I'll do it anyway. I don't care. I haven't actually thought about it.
Direct message Karina if you
see me do that.
visual tippers.
Yes, do that.
But it's kind of fascinating. That is the most basic example I could give you of a requirement of validation, where you wait to be a good tipper and a good Samaritan, let's say, only because somebody's watching.
Yes. Okay. Okay. That's true. That's true on a lot of levels. But what I'm saying is once you start doing the internal work and you realize that it's your life and the only person that needs to validate you is you, right? um, the validation is good though, because you need it. But do you go and donate money? So you have people that donate money to a fund and then they tell everybody about it. I don't believe in that, right? I believe if you want to give someone something, you give it to them, but you don't tell the world. But that's
Well,
just different people,
but
right?
and that's a good point, and I believe you halfway. Until now, I'm starting to do it, right? Yeah, I don't believe in publicizing, oh, Dino Miliotis was having lunch at so-and-so place and he left this waitress $1,000 tip. Now, for everybody out there that doesn't understand media, okay, and PR, the only way the newspapers would know that there was $1,000 tip left is if the star's PR company wrote a press release to send to the media outlets so they could see it and decide to print the story. Okay. So, please, it's not like a surprise. It's just like if you go on a talk show and you see a lot of these people plugging their movie, and then you hear the host say, okay, we're going to play a clip from your first movie way back when. And they start playing the clip and you see the star going, oh my God, are you really? Oh no. Who do you think gave him the clip? Okay. I'm just shattering somebody's. Okay, but here's the thing though. Sometimes you publicize philanthropy because you're trying to get a soapbox to spread your message.
Yes.
That's why some of the things that I do, I publicize. It's not to say, look at me, but it's because the bigger my soapbox, the more people will hear me.
Yes.
So years ago, if I was looking at me now, I'd say, oh, this guy's a show off. Come on. Why don't you just give to give and just shut up about it? And why do you have to tell everybody about it? But you don't know, because the Dino now would explain, hey, you're right. I agree with you. But how are people going to know about this movement if I don't do a few things, select things? I mean, certainly not everything that I do, but select things in order to gain that exposure, to increase the following, to increase the movement.
Yes.
So I'd be arguing with myself right now, right? That's pretty cool.
It's very cool. And then it depends. Who wins, the angel or the devil?
Depends what day it is. You know what I mean? I don't know. The good guys usually win, but good guys do wear black. So I don't know. I can't answer that question. Look, it's a lot of fun. I don't know what stage in life you're going to be when you figure this, when people figure this out for themselves. You're very, very fortunate if you figure it out young in life. Most of the times it doesn't work like that. You got to, have your scars and wear them proudly and accept them instead of putting makeup on them and covering them every 2 seconds.
Right.
When you finally have the scars and say, yeah, I have a scar, so what? Then you're coming into your own. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yes. And I think that comes a little bit older or later in life, or somebody who could be young, but has experienced a lot early on in life to be able to gain that wisdom, that ongoing wisdom of just knowing how things work, knowing, people's feelings and being perceptive and feeling stuff out. So It's a pretty cool topic you're bringing up today, because again, I mean, we didn't plan this, again, like we don't plan anything. It's a cool thing. And we and the dog barking either.
I know, right? So it's just confirmation. Sorry about the dog barking. Really?
Oh, whatever. It's okay. We plan this. No,
So,
it's a good subject, and actually, it's a good post. It's a very good post. Kind of makes you think, or you could just read it, just gloss over the words, and you'd be like, that's cute, nice. Let me send a heart. Oh, hold on. Let me send a caring heart. Oh, no, that's too personal. Let me just send a thumbs up. Or you could sit there and just read it and just do what we just did as a deep dive, by the way.
Yes.
And just reflect on stuff. And then you figure out that your post meant a lot more than at face value.
Yes.
But you gotta, when you're ready to be deep, you'll be ready. If you're not ready, that's okay.
Yeah. You see what you have to see at the right time, and it's also about doing those deep dives and doing that internal work all the time, because then you start seeing things differently every day, because you see yourself differently every day. So that's exciting as well, and you don't expect that. Now we go back to expectations, where a lot of times you see things happening. I mean, social media is the worst thing ever, right? I mean, it's great because you have the interaction, but on the other hand, it's all so superficial because everyone shows their good side, right?
Yeah.
Because of course they do. And you need to realize that you can't take anything personally, and you need to also see it as, hey, don't stop comparing yourself. Because it's very easy to start comparing yourself to things if you're not in a good place, right? So you've got to always stay mindful of those kind of things.
Yeah, and it's even more deflating in the social world, the cyber world. Now that they have these filters that make you look like a rock star all the time, it's like, oh my God, not to be superficial, but I mean, there's, wow, like a lot of, I even write wow, because it even wows me. But, it's just a filter, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, they may be, exactly how they present themselves, but it's just a snippet in time. I'm sure they cry like everybody else, and I'm sure they get colds like everybody else, and probably some acne. And I'm sure they have boring, miserable lives at certain times of the day. You can't just be, 24/7, just like whatever that post makes you think it is. I mean, it's not going to happen. But, so you have to take everything with a little bit of fun and flavor and humility and all that stuff. And, if somebody snubs you on the social world, like, I'm blocked, go ahead, block me, whatever. So what? Who cares?
Yes.
It's not that serious. It's more interesting, though, the exercises that we're talking about, especially you have a challenge coming up. It's not really a challenge. Yes. I'm going to call it a training. It's a course. And I think that's when you get down to the nuts and bolts of actually, you're very humble and modest and stuff like that. You're not going to say what you do. But if you peel back the curtain of Karina, you do a lot and you've helped a lot of people, and people don't realize that you do, train people, and you do have classes, and you do this for a living, what I mean? You're not just a podcast person. So I think you're right on the money with that,
The video cut off here. And as you know, if you've been following us for a while, we don't believe in coincidences. So we end it right here. However, we'd like to invite you to 5-day self-love challenge. 5 days, 5 tasks that change everything. Do you dare take that chance? Do you dare change your life? Do you dare change everything for the beauty of yourself and the world around you? We'll see you on the other side.